The confirmed number of cases of the coronavirus in Los Angeles County today comes to 63,844. The confirmed number of deaths reaches 2,645. Here in Torrance, the total number of confirmed cases is 410, with total confirmed deaths at 46. We anticipate numbers to increase as the last 24-hour operating period is updated within Torrance. Welcome to COVID-19 Today. I'm Christine Lee. It's 2 p.m. on Sunday, June 7th. Heading into the second weekend of demonstrations following George Floyd's death, a diverse group of protesters from every age demographic, ethnicity, and gender are all coming together to be seen in solidarity demanding change. As many groups continue to hold peaceful gatherings and the initial looting and vandalism subsided significantly during the past week, members of the National Guard are being withdrawn from Los Angeles and will head back home. At the peak of civil unrest, there were more than 1,000 guardsmen in Los Angeles, with more than 24 placed here in Torrance. In the South Bay, a peaceful paddle out took place at Torrance Beach with nearly 80 surfers in the water on Saturday morning. Several neighborhood walks were also seen as the community wanted to show their support in solidarity against police brutality. As the global movement to raise awareness of police brutality, social change, and racial inequalities continues, the House Judiciary Committee said they plan to hold a hearing next week as the first steps toward creating legislation to prevent excessive use of force and racial profiling. Judiciary Committee Chairman Gerald Nadler said they would hear from community leaders, activists, experts, and law enforcement members. Floyd's brother, Phil Anise, was one of the many invited to speak before the Congress at the Policing Practices and Law Enforcement Accountability hearing scheduled to take place on Wednesday. House Democrats plan to unveil policing reform legislation following the hearing. Floyd's two brothers have spoken up about their brother's death in New York and Minneapolis and have asked for the public to come together in unity and in peace amid all the civil unrest. As thousands continue to take to the streets throughout California, Los Angeles County health officials are urging the public to be cautious while taking part. LA County Public Health Director Barbara Ferrer says to keep 6 feet away from others, wear a face covering, and take hand sanitizer with you and use it often if you're in contact with strangers. She also says to self-isolate or quarantine following an outing, stay at home and away from others as much as possible, and monitor yourself for symptoms. And while Ferrer says demonstrators were likely to come in contact with someone carrying the novel coronavirus, she says to wait to take the test. If the test is taken immediately after exposure, it would likely come back negative. She said it would give people a false sense of security since the virus takes up to 14 days to infect a person. She says the best thing to do is to stay out of the public as much as possible for 2 weeks following a large gathering. And for those who live with older adults or with anyone with an underlying health condition, face masks are recommended when around family members and avoid close contact with them for at least 2 weeks. Officials say it could take about 3 weeks before any spike in cases is attributed to ongoing demonstrations. As more than 100 companies race to find a vaccine for COVID-19, health experts caution it likely won't be effective enough to end the global pandemic. Instead, it could potentially be years before a winning one emerges. With the first large-scale human trial of 2 coronavirus vaccine candidates starting next month, health officials say some kind of vaccine will likely be ready to be distributed widely by the end of the year. Vaccines were aimed at producing enough of the right neutralizing antibodies to prevent future infections. The nation's top infectious disease expert, Dr. Anthony Fauci, said at a briefing held by the Journal of the American Medical Association that he is cautiously optimistic that we're going to have a vaccine since multiple candidates from various platforms are working to provide one. He predicted that nearly 100 million doses of a successful vaccine would be available by November or December, and perhaps 200 million doses by the beginning of 2021. This is largely due to taxpayer and philanthropic investments in factories that will be built to manufacture the massive quantity of vaccines. Health experts say even if the vaccine only lessens the severity of a deadly disease, it could mean keeping more people out of hospitals and from dying. The White House initiative called Operation Warp Speed is expected to list the top 5 companies to lead the vaccine efforts in the U.S. Those likely include Moderna, AstraZeneca, Johnson & Johnson, Merck, and Pfizer. If you had a chance to step outside today, you may have noticed a combination of dry, warm, and windy weather conditions. Well, according to the National Weather Service, that's the perfect combination for potential fires. Today, temperatures were anticipated to reach triple digits in parts of Southern California, which could result in extreme fire conditions. Forecasters expect this to last through Monday afternoon. Wind gusts could kick up to 55 miles per hour, the most powerful winds expected later tonight and into the morning. More sectors in California will soon begin to reopen as early as next Friday. The state's Department of Public Health released a series of new guidelines for counties to use to help local gyms, bars, hotels, movie theaters, and amusement parks to safely reopen. Yesterday, we talked about summer camps, schools, gyms, and movie theaters and the protocols they would need to have in place. Now, what about restaurants, bars, and wineries? Well, some guidelines include more disposable paper menus, single-use salt and pepper packets, disposable seat covers, and no more buffets or self-service soda machines. Restaurants are encouraged to adopt a reservation system and allow customers to order their food beforehand to minimize the amount of time spent inside the restaurant. Also, tables should be spaced at least 6 feet apart. For family entertainment centers like video game arcades, bowling alleys, and miniature golf courses, cleaning and disinfecting protocols would be a top priority. Businesses may need to eliminate accessible racks of bowling balls or golf putters and instead provide items to customers individually so they can be cleaned in between each use. They should also provide single-use and disposable items whenever possible, including scorecards, 3D glasses, and pencils. They're also encouraged to install contactless methods of payment and limit groups to a household unit. Ball pits and indoor playgrounds, climbing structures, and enclosed bounce houses will remain closed as these promote large gatherings and will be difficult to disinfect them between uses. As for California theme parks, a new reservation system is encouraged to manage attendance demand and reduce capacity on attractions, restaurants, and retail stores, as well as methods of transportation within the park. And while the state and county may give the approval for these sectors potentially by Friday, many theme park officials say they will not likely open right away. Cedar Fair, which operates Knott's Berry Farm, said they would not be ready to reopen just yet. Same goes for Disneyland, which is looking at reopening possibly by mid-July. For Disney World, Universal Orlando, and SeaWorld Orlando, the following protocols will be implemented: temperature checks upon arrival, requirements for face masks, social distancing markers, enhanced cleaning and disinfecting protocols, hand sanitizing stations, and highly visible signs for contactless payment to let parkgoers know what's expected of them. And it won't look too far off from those guidelines here in California. According to presentations made to the Orange County Economic Recovery Task Force, as well as the Los Angeles County Economic Resiliency Task Force, visitors should anticipate a very different experience when parks reopen again. Moving through the COVID-19 recovery process, the city of Torrance continues to take steps to support local businesses and work closely with the state of California and the county of Los Angeles to safely reopen as soon as possible. The city's Office of Economic Development is offering to cover filing costs associated with proposals for expanding dining options. This assistance will also grant temporary permits for approved outdoor dining and curbside pickup plans at no cost to the business owner. Residents are encouraged to shop local, eat local, and continue to support the local economy. As Del Amo Fashion Center and most retailers begin to reopen their doors with limited capacity, many are continuing to offer curbside pickup once you order online. Many restaurants are also beginning to offer in-dining service again throughout the city. For a full list of businesses open for takeout, you can go to torranceca.gov/COVID-19. And if you're wondering what types of industries are now open, you can find that information online as well. Go to torranceca.gov/back-to-business. The Torrance Certified Farmers Market was busy Saturday as thousands came out throughout the day to buy their fresh produce. The Torrance Cares Farmers Market curbside pickup also continued with 12 orders picked up. Shoppers who placed orders by noon the day before were able to pick up curbside between 11 a.m. and noon. This service was launched to assist seniors with limited mobility as well as those with underlying health conditions. This month, you'll find cherries, peaches, and plums readily available as this is the beginning of their season. You'll also find sweet strawberries from various vendors for a few more weeks before the season tapers off. The farmers market takes place every Tuesday and Saturday from 8 a.m. until 1 p.m. at Wilson Park. As a reminder, shoppers must wear face coverings while at the farmers market and must practice social distancing while shopping. Shoppers are also encouraged to leave family members at home and send just one person per household. Speaking of the Torrance Farmers Market, did you know that they're one of the many retailers that accept CalFresh cards? During this health crisis, those who've lost jobs or have been financially impacted can get some assistance to ensure food is still put on the table for you and your family. Thanks to the federally funded CalFresh program, all you have to do is submit an application online. It takes about 10 minutes to complete. You will need to submit proof of your situation, a copy of your ID, along with pay stubs or rent receipts. If you're approved, you'll get an EBT card with money to use towards groceries as soon as 30 days from the time you apply. If you need it sooner, you can apply for a 3-day expedited service if your household makes less than $150 a month and has less than $100 on hand. Those applicants are also encouraged to reach out to local food banks for immediate assistance. Online, you can find a number of food assistance centers in the South Bay. During the COVID-19 health crisis, recipients will see additional funds put into their EBT account thanks to the Families First Act passed by Congress back in March. Torrance Farmers Market staff have said they've seen EBT purchases triple since the start of the health crisis. For more information, you can go to getcalfresh.org. As the city continues its COVID-19 recovery efforts, more and more services will continue to resume. The city's Public Works Department announced street sweeping will resume to its normal schedule in residential and all other areas beginning tomorrow morning. And with services on hold since mid-March, there has been a buildup of debris in curbs and gutters by the catch basins and in certain areas in standing waters. This goes into effect Monday, June 8th. At this time, enforcement of no parking for street sweeping parking restrictions remains suspended until further notice. It's a star-studded event that likely has millions glued to their TVs or personal devices, as YouTube is helping celebrate graduates who likely missed out on traditional ceremonies due to COVID-19.
Oh my gosh, the class of 2020, come on in!
Yeah!
It's called Dear Class of 2020. The more than 4-hour-long event started at noon Pacific time today and can still be seen streaming live on YouTube Originals channel. While it was scheduled to air yesterday, it was moved in honor of George Floyd's memorial service, which took place at the same time. This virtual event served as an inspirational tribute to this year's graduates. It's headlined by former President Barack Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama. Celebrities like Beyonce, BTS, Lady Gaga, Lizzo, and more than a dozen artists are expected to perform, as well as guest appearances by A-list actors. Commencement speakers include the Obama's CEO of Google, Sundar Pichai, former Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice, and Pakistani activist and Nobel Peace Prize laureate Malala Yousafzai, to name a few. It's a star-studded event you won't want to miss and can be seen now on YouTube. Here at City Cable, we also want to celebrate the many in this community who won't be able to take part in a traditional graduation ceremony due to COVID-19. We want to recognize you and your big milestone. Congratulations to Olivia HUSEN. She is promoting from CASIMIR Middle School this month. She is an honor roll student involved in her student council at school and a club soccer athlete. She is excited to begin high school this fall. Her family wanted to share how proud they are of her and all her accomplishments. Congratulations to all of our graduates. Whether it's a preschool promotion or college graduation and every milestone in between, send us your photo and let us know what school you are graduating from. We'll be sure to share it on our show. Email us at covid19today@torranceca.gov. Well, before we go, at the end of each program, we like to share stories from our community. Feel-good pictures, images, and videos that remind us of how resilient our community is and how it reflects how Torrance truly cares. Well, today, we wanted to share something fun and sweet that we found on social media. For many pet owners who work outside their homes, there's a special place pets can go where they will be watched while mom and dad are at work. It's called Dogtopia South Bay. They're a fairly new business to open in Torrance, and recently they held a puppy prom that we hope will bring a smile to your face like it did to ours. Let's take a look.
And the land is dark, and the moon is the only light we'll see.
Dogtopia is located at 2360 West 205th Street near Crenshaw and Del Amo Boulevard. They're open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. and on weekends, 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. During this health crisis, they donated hundreds of gift cards to first responders and medical heroes offering their services during the initial impact of the crisis. The business partnership seen in the Torrance community is one of the many reasons that makes Torrance unique and truly special. Now, if you have a great story or have pictures or videos you'd like to share or just want to say hello, please email us at covid19today@torranceca.gov. Stay informed by signing up at torranceca.gov/torrancealerts. Subscribe to City Cable's YouTube channel and be sure to like the city's Facebook page. That's our update for COVID-19 today. We hope you'll join us again tomorrow at 4 p.m. as Ben McCain kicks off the week and brings you the latest updates. Be safe, stay healthy, and thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.